Hello. So it's not a surprise that narcs like to make everything about them and what they approve of. They interfere with every aspect of our lives, including our jobs. So I've done some research a little bit. Couldn't really find anything on this subject. The only thing I could really find was like talking about narcs in the workplace. Today's subject with me is narcissists who interfere with our jobs. I'm going to give you some examples. When I was 18, I applied at a store that I liked to shop at called Hot Topic. They sell like metal stuff and gothic type clothes and anything that's kind of like edgy or alternative. I applied for like a managerial position. I hadn't heard back from them in a little while, so I accepted another job offer. Like I literally had just accepted it and started working elsewhere. So I came home one day and my mom was like acting all angry that she had received a phone call from Hot Topic. She views the store as like a Satanist store or something like that, where people go to like worship Satan or something. She pretends she's like God-fearing, but she's not. So anyway, she said that they had called to try to, I guess, like get an interview with me for the job. And she yelled at them on the phone that I had already had a job. She told them what she thought of them, like, calling them evil and Satanists and all that. And also told them to never call the house again, and then hung up on them. When she told me the story, she acted all proud of herself that she told them off. Yeah. So that's interfering with me getting a job. Now, I did end up getting a second job because I was looking for 2 jobs. So I ended up getting 2 pretty much full-time jobs. Another one was when I had started babysitting. Now, I don't remember how I got it. It's a woman that a friend of my mother's knew. And this woman had a little girl. I don't remember how old she was, maybe 7 or so, maybe somewhere around there, 7 or 8. So I started watching the girl for the summer while the mother worked, and I picked up the little kid from swimming classes at a certain time every single day, and then I would either take her to the park or my house or to her house if she wanted, because I guess there was friends or something that she wanted to play with or to go to the pool with, something like that. I don't know exactly what happened. All I know is that the little girl's mom and my mom got into a fight. Now, my mom isn't babysitting. She has nothing to do with me babysitting this little girl. It was my job. It's just those two got into an argument. And the only thing that I know for a fact is that she decided to tell the mother off, calling the little girl a spoiled brat. Now, I know how my mom gets, and my mom was probably She probably had her angry voice on. Her angry voice is where she actually sounds like she's Satan. It's very scary. So nothing was told to me that anything was changing just because of the fight. So the next day, I went to the place where I was supposed to pick up the little girl, and I was told by the person at the desk that I was no longer picking her up. I was confused, and then some old guy showed up and he says he was there to pick the girl up. So I called the little girl's mother, and I was confused, and I asked her, what's going on? They're not letting me pick her up, and then there's some other guy here trying to pick her up. She informed me, and now she got angry with me, saying that I was no longer babysitting, I was fired, and that the people it was at the YMCA. So the people at the YMCA were to call her and get a hold of her, and she would call the cops or whatever to make sure that I didn't kidnap her kid or whatever. If I don't know that I'm fired and I go to pick up the kid, why do you need to bring up the fact that you're going to call the cops on me? You got in a fight with my mom, not me. I figured a rational person would, not take it out on me, what happened between her and my narcissist. But that's just how it went. So I think it wasn't 100% my mom, but it was part the woman too. To be honest, the little girl was very spoiled, and she was a little bratty, but I never said anything about it because, parents are very sensitive when you try to call their little kids brats. I mean, if somebody called my kid a brat, I'd freak out too, so. And then there is with my ex. With our daughter, taking care of her was pretty much 100% my responsibility. I had to have jobs where either I could take her to or that I could find her someone to watch her, which actually, back in the day, it ended up being my mom or my half-brother and sometimes my dad. I don't think I had anybody else watch her. I usually just kept it family. But yeah, it was, if I had to work, it was 100% my responsibility to find care for our daughter. Like if him and I worked at the same time and there was no one to watch her, and I was at a job to where I couldn't take her, because I did end up getting a job, like at first I was taking care of people where I could take my daughter with me. And then later on I got another job where I couldn't take her with me, so my mom was always watching her. But if we were working at the same time, it was up to me to find someone to watch her. It's like he absolved himself of any responsibility of having to find a sitter or to watch her or even to take care of her when we were both home. And so he interfered with my jobs. And also, if I somehow couldn't find a sitter, it was always me that had to take the time off and call somebody and find someone else to take my spot at work. Not him. So I was shafted. And I think this is a problem in a lot of what goes on with having kids, is that usually the mother is the one that has to take time off of work to deal with kids stuff. You know, the father never seems to, take off work to, take kids to the doctors. And you have all these, this is no offense to the men who take care of their kids, okay? It's, there are men out there fighting for more visiting time with their kids, but at the same time, they're not the ones taking days off to take care of those kids. And from my standpoint, I have friends who, when it's their ex's parenting time, if their kid is sick, their exes won't take them. Like if the kid has the flu or something, the father won't take them because they're sick. He's like, you know, like he doesn't want to take care of his kid because the kid is sick. You know, they're acting more like babysitters than parents. And the men who do this really need to step it up, because to me it's a form of narcissism. Like you feel like you make a kid, you don't really want to pay for the kid, and the only reason why you want more custody with the kid is because you want to pay less support. But when it comes down to the nitty-gritty of taking care of sick kids, taking days off because your kid can't go to school because they're sick, or if they have to go to the doctors, sporting events, any type of an emergency, anything that goes on that's important, they always leave it up to mother to deal with. If you're always putting it on the mother to take care of all these things, then in my eyes, you're a deadbeat, which is what my ex is. He hasn't seen our daughter in, it's going to be, next week, it's going to make 9 months. And it's hard because having a child be 100% your responsibility, it interferes with having to get jobs or working, finding sitters, stuff like that. So for my ex, you know, he wants me to work and all this other stuff, but yet he's not willing to put in any effort towards taking care of our child. It was his parents, him, and my mom, they all wanted me to be a stay-at-home mom. I was a worker. I like to work, and a lot of times I worked 2 jobs, and I don't think I really worked so much because of just like working. It was to get away from my mother. Like, I started working early on. I was 10 when I had my first, I guess, it was like a little house cleaning business, but I only cleaned like one person's house, and I was there like 3 days a week. And then at 14, I started selling newspapers and stuff, and I just kept working and getting better jobs. Like, because, you know, you have to be age appropriate to work at certain places and to work certain hours. But anyway, they all wanted me to be like a stay-at-home mom. And my ex took that to mean that our daughter was 100% my responsibility. We had many fights about our finances in our relationship. Sorry, I have an eyelash stuck in my eye. We had many fights about him screwing up our finances. And I would get upset, and then he would tell me that I have to go get a job. And I'm like, okay, well, the vehicle you're driving to work is my car. So go buy yourself a car, and then you have to help me find daycare and pay for it. And he said no. He put it all on me. That I'm the one that had to get another car and find one. I'm the one that had to find a job. I'm the one that had to find care for our daughter. He just put everything 100% on me. All he feels like he needs to do is just go do his job, come home, and then do nothing. Do what he wants. And that's exactly what he did. So there was no way that I could get a job. And getting another vehicle plus paying childcare, the jobs that I could get where we were, which was in El Paso, we would be paying just so that I could work. What I would make wouldn't even come close. I did the math back then. It wouldn't even come close. So it wouldn't be worth working at all unless I like babysat from home. So anyway, that's how our narcissists interfere with our jobs or us not being able to get a job. So if you have any stories about your narcissist interfering with your job or making it so that you don't get a job, because with spouses that are narcissists or significant others that are narcissists, what they like to do is isolate you and manipulate you. They like to strip everything from you so that you can't leave, so that you are dependent on them. And then they like to argue with you that you're dependent on them. And the reason why I didn't want to stop working was because I didn't want to be dependent on him. And it sucks because he's a narcissist. He got what he wanted. But like I said, comment below about your narcissist doing anything with you, getting you fired, or making it so that you can't get a job or an interview. Alright, I hope everybody has a good one. Take care.